This is the Horse Radio Network.
This is episode 524 of Horse Tip Daily. A different horse tip, a different equine topic, a different equestrian expert every day. Horse Tip Daily brings the world of equine knowledge to you one day at a time. Today's tip is brought to you by ECOGOLD, Equestrian Textile Engineering. Hi, Coach Jen here, and thanks for tuning in to Horse Tip Daily. Today's tip is from Dr. Jeff Tucker. Dr. Tucker graduated from New York State College of Veterinary Medicine in 1984. He was trained in dentistry by his mentor, Dr. Jack Lowe, using horsemanship as a basis of earning the horse's trust and using the hand as a speculum. He has always believed that dentistry is an important part of veterinary medicine and made it an integral part of his practice from the very beginning. These days, Dr. Tucker travels across the country practicing his craft. Today, Equine Dentistry 101. But first, a word about today's sponsor, ECOGOLD. ECOGOLD is the leader in high-tech, problem-solving saddle pads and horse boots. And how do they do it? Science. ECOGOLD uses different technologies and materials to solve different issues. Innovation for ECOGOLD means dumping the old-fashioned one-size-fits-all mentality. They've developed 5 different lines of saddle pads to address the most important issues for our equine athletes: friction, stability, fit, security, and comfort. And ECOGOLD knows your equipment needs to be user-friendly as well as effective, so their products are stylish and easy to care for. And they're made in their own factory in Montreal, Canada, so you can be sure the materials and workmanship are the absolute best. Ask for ECOGOLD saddle pads, protective boots, and coolers by name at your local tack store or visit them online at ecogold.ca. Now, enjoy today's tip. Dr. Jeff Tucker, dentist extraordinaire, is here with us today to educate us on everything horse tooth and jaw related. What have we got today?
Well, I'm going to try and find 5 things that the basic beginner person needs to know about horse teeth without boring them to tears and using fancy words. Is that okay?
Oh, I love it. I like it when we can have a discussion and a tip that contains less than 5 five-syllable words. I like that a lot.
Okay. First, a horse is not a human. I know this sounds really so profound, but so many people have their own ideas in their head about dentists and dentistry that's based on their own experience with humans. And I can't tell you how many people say, oh, I hate the dentist, and therefore they won't even do dentistry on the horse because of their own fear of the dentist.
Well, sure.
So in Horse 101, just understand that a horse is a horse. And we're not comparing apples to apples here. It's like totally different. The horse's teeth are not even close to what a human tooth is. Secondly, yes, horses do have teeth, and they go all the way back there. It's not just the nippers up front. The nippers are technically called incisors, but we like to call them nippers because they nip and they, cut grass and stuff.
So when you look at the horse's head from the outside, his incisors or his molars start right about where the curvy part of their jaw is, right? A little in front of that. And they go all the way back to the back edge of their jaw where it curves up into their neck, right?
Sure.
Because it's the soft, puffy part of their cheeks, because there's the edge of their lips where the bit touches. And then you have the soft, puffy part of their cheeks. And about halfway across that is where their molars start.
If you take your arm and place it on the side of the horse's head, so your elbow, right in front of your elbow is where the nose is,
mm-hmm.
and your fingertips are getting close to the eyes,
mm-hmm.
That's how far back the teeth go.
Wow.
And we like to separate them into 2 categories. We have the nippers up front, and we have the cheek teeth in the back. And I know a lot of people call them molars, but technically only 12 of the 24 teeth back there are molars.
Really?
The other 12 are premolars. And the definition of a premolar is that they have baby teeth. and the baby teeth come out and replaced with permanent teeth, adult teeth. And the molars don't have baby teeth. So maybe the next thing people need to know about horses is when they're young, meaning between 2.5 and 4.5 years of age, a horse will lose all of his front nipper teeth, that's 12 teeth, and all of his premolar teeth, that's another 12 teeth. So in other words, 24 teeth are going to be shed in the first 5 years of its life.
That's a lot of teeth. That's a lot of tooth fairy quarters, let me tell you.
And I get so many phone calls, Doc, somebody just kicked my horse. It's got its front teeth coming out. And I'll say, he's 3.5 years old. Well, yeah, how'd you know, Doc? Well, because the teeth are falling out. Those are the baby teeth. The new teeth are coming in. So that's horse 101. Tip number 2, horses' teeth do have baby teeth, just like humans, and all the front teeth are going to go, and 3 on each side of the cheek teeth, top and bottom, 3, 6, 9, 12 teeth in the back are also going to go. Huh. So if you're taking a horse that's 2.5, 3.5 years of age, maybe 4.5 years of age, and you're asking him to do stuff with a bit, well, by golly, between 2.5 and 4.5 years of age, all those teeth are coming out. It's so dynamic back there.
There's a lot going on.
Chaos.
Yeah.
As you know, chaos. And we, if we're training these horses and we're spending time and we're spending money and trying to train young horses, those teeth need to be attended to because sometimes they hang up, they get stuck, they get dug into their cheek, dug into their tongue, pieces of caps or baby teeth break and remain in the gum line.
You always have to get that ew factor in there, don't you? Every tip. Ew.
I'm just passionate about this. Sorry, I don't look at it as, I feel like the postmortem guy in, NCIS. Oh, look at these lungs. Look at this,
Ew.
But anyway. So tip number 1, a horse is a horse, not a human. The teeth are completely different. Tip number 2, when they're young, they lose all those teeth, and so if you're going to start bitting them and you want the best response from your bit, you should have a dentist take a look at those teeth on a frequent basis, and sometimes 3, even 4 times a year.
Interesting.
Because I'll float a young horse's mouth, and 3 months later, 3 or 4 of those teeth are gone. New teeth have come in, the adult teeth. A piece of tooth is broken off. It's digging into the tongue or cheek. And here the trainer's trying to train the horse, and he's fighting the bit. And he says, by golly, I had your teeth done 2 months ago, so it can't be the teeth, and I'm going to work harder at it. In reality, you need the dentist again.
So at what age do the molars proper, the ones in the back, start to come in?
They'll come in at around 2, 3, and then 5 years of age. 4.5 maybe.
So a yearling doesn't even have a whole set of molars in the back.
Correct.
I did never know that.
Yep.
Wow, I feel dumb.
No, don't feel dumb. Because what's out of sight, you don't know. I mean, you don't know about the guts, you don't know about it, and the teeth are back there and you don't see them, which is probably tip number 3. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it doesn't need to be taken care of. You look at the feet, and anybody looks at the feet and says, oh, look, they're growing long and everything, and they got all shocked when they're overgrown and they're cracked and all this. We don't have the luxury. Here a dentist comes to you, a veterinarian, and says, look, your horse's teeth need to be done. And they say, why? The horse is eating just fine. What are you trying to do, steal from me? And we're like, no. Like today, I spent all day working on some horses that haven't been done in about 3 years. We went in there, those poor horses. They're razor blades with ulcers and actual lacerations inside their cheeks. And these poor horses, as we did them, their heads were dropping and just in relief. It was horrible. And yet, for me, it was elation and lots of yuckiness because, these horses actually, what do I say? They were like so grateful for us taking their pain away. It's just amazing.
Huh.
All right. Tip number 4. If you've ever had a mechanical pencil, one of those pencils that you load in some lead and then you start writing, and as you start writing, it wears down and you click out more lead.
Yeah, I like those.
That analogy is exactly what the horse does. They load up with a tooth, and at 5 years of age, they have a full adult tooth. it stops growing. All right? So now the horse starts to chew. And because he chews, here I go again, between 10,000 and 40,000 times a day, or on average 25,000 times a day, which is 250,000 chews in 10 days, 750,000 chews in a month, they're constantly wearing that tooth down. And what's really cool is if you think of that pencil as you're writing and you're wearing it down, you know how if you don't turn the pencil, it gets flatter on one end and really sharp on the other?
Yeah,
That sharp edge is what we go in and file off, because that sharp edge is digging into the cheek or the tongue, and it's creating pain and ulcers. Ulcers meaning an abrasion to the lining of the gut, not gastric ulcers, not colonic ulcers. This is just a mechanical ulcer of the tooth scraping up and down on the cheek and wearing
it's a brush burn in their mouth.
Brush burn, right?
They've got road rash.
Right. Now, we'll come in and file off that excess, but you're still writing, and it's still using up lead, and you finally get down to the hub of the pencil, and you reach up and you click, and you eject more lead.
Right.
And that's what the horse does. It erupts tooth. It takes that permanent tooth, which is 2 inches, 3 inches, maybe even 4 inches, depending on the size of your horse, as an adult, and it microscopically just keeps erupting more and more throughout the horse's life, just like the pencil. And at some point, you get down to the end where you click and nothing more comes out.
That's when your horse is 40 years old.
Right.
Right.
And sometimes 25 and sometimes 30. But sometimes at that point, you can take your fingers on that lead piece and you can actually pull it out because nothing's holding it in the pencil anymore.
Oh.
We'll go into some of these older horses and we'll actually take a tooth with our fingers and pull it out because it's not being held in there anymore.
There you go with the ew factor again.
Well,
that's interesting. I didn't realize that the horse's body would eject the tooth to the point that there was nothing left in the jaw. That's interesting.
Well, again, it goes to genetics. Some of these horses don't ever run out of tooth. They hit 35 and they die of something else in their teeth. They're filled. They have no problems. Yet I've had some ponies and horses where I'll go in and I have not been taking care of their teeth since a young age. I'll go in at their old, and they only have 8 teeth back there instead of 24. They only have 1/3 of the amount of teeth that they should have. And yet, through proper management and feeding these horses right and taking off any sharp edges, these horses become fat and happy.
Right. You have to.
Even though
maybe that should be tip number 5 in Horse Dentistry 101 is horse owner and horse management. How you care for your horse needs to work in harmony with your dentistry. They work together.
That's good, but I have another tip 5.
Of course. So this is 5B.
5B. And this one's really important. It may be a little bit more advanced, but it's something I want you to keep thinking about. Because everyone says, okay, great, I'm sold on floating horses' teeth, but how often should I do it? And the answer is, again, this is not an oil change in your car every 3,000 miles. This is the expression I want you to remember. It's not how sharp the teeth are, it's the threshold of pain for the horse. The analogy is, if I put a pebble in your shoe and put a pebble in Glenn's shoe and you both go running, one of you is going to cry and moan, saying, ow, it hurts. The other person's going to say, it's just a pebble, it's no big deal. So, if you have sharp teeth in one horse, the horse is going to keep eating and nobody knows the difference. The other horse, it has a little pimple in there and they say, oh my God, I'd rather stop eating, I can't take the bit, I'm going to fight you all the way. And yet that horse could have less sharp teeth. Does that make sense?
Yes, it makes perfect sense. And that's true because when you're working with horses, old Charger over there, you give him his shots, he just stands there and stares at you, and he's got a big old scrape across his hip because his friend in the pasture bit him, and he doesn't seem to care when you put Furazone on it. And then you walk next door to Bingo, and Bingo has a mosquito bite, and you'd think he was going to die.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
so
exactly
each horse has a different level. So whenever...
To answer your question, how often? Somewhere between 6 months and 12 months. depending on the horse, it's going to move from prevention to fixing. So
Gotcha.
most people do it every 6 months because the majority of horses, if you do it at 6 months, it remains preventive. If you wait till a year, the majority of the horses that you do it a year are fixing. And if you're spending time or money investing in your horse, trailering it to horse shows, paying the fees to enter and everything, and you're going to wait till you have a problem at 9 or 10 months, and then you call the dentist and says, yeah, I can be there in 2 weeks. Well, that screws up everything. But if you plan it for a time, like at 6 months, or even if you want to go 7 or 8 months because of finances, get it done before it becomes a problem. Now everything flows a lot better in your life. So that's my last tip.
So you don't wait until that pony stops eating to call the
it's the most
dentist.
ridiculous thing. I haven't had his teeth done in 3 years, and I'm starting to discover something that's a problem with the bit. He won't eat his hay. Well, how long has this horse been suffering?
Mm-hmm.
And finally he says, I give up. This hurts too much. And yet you've done something preventive. You don't wait till that crankcase falls out of your engine to change the oil.
Well, some of us do.
They are going to save money.
Well, once again, those are fabulous because that's really the basics to keep you going. After that, it's get a good relationship with your dentist professional and learn more from there. But really, that's going to be a good start for folks. And thank you once again, Dr. Jeff Tucker. We'll see you next time. Well, there you go. And thank you very much, Dr. Tucker. To listen to all of Dr. Tucker's tips, just go to horsetipdaily.com and go to the experts drop-down menu on the left. All of our experts are there, alphabetized and easy to find. You can also go to Dr. Tucker's website, theequinepractice.com. That's theequinepractice.com. And while you're there, you can also download his fantastic book. He has it available as an e-version, The 10 Irrefutable Laws of Horsemanship. A great book for you, or if you're looking for a gift for a friend. It's really a fun read and oh so very smart too. Please stop by the Horse Tip Daily Facebook page and let us know what you think of the tips you hear on the show. It's also a great place to tell us about topics you'd like to hear us cover. You can subscribe to all of the great shows of the Horse Radio Network through iTunes or Zune and get your horse podcasts automatically downloaded to your iPod, Zune, or MP3 player. I'll be back again tomorrow with another new expert and a different horse tip. Until then, go ride your horse! The Horse Radio Network and the Horse Radio Network hosts are not responsible for statements of guests or their opinions. Use your own judgment when listening to the tips provided by the experts on Horse Tip Daily.